MSO is pleased to offer at least 8 webinars each year. We are currently working on the schedule for 2024 and welcome suggestions for presenters and topics for our webinars. We're hoping to offer continuing education for some of these. If you miss any of our webinars, they are available for on-demand viewing on our website, msonet.com. They will also be available on our brand new YouTube channel in the near future. You may also have seen our training flyer. We offer CE and non-CE training for member companies, agents, and other industry members. Contact us for more information. Now, on to today's presentation. Mary Beegle handles a wide variety of functions at MSO. As a natural organization geek, she pulls decades of experience in the industry together with management training and self-taught skills to bring order to the chaos of modern living, which we all need right about now. She joined MSO in 2019 and has advanced to the role of Assistant Vice President and Senior Product Development Analyst. In this capacity, Mary works with other members of the team and directly with MSO clients in the creation and filing of tailored personal and commercial insurance products. She's been involved in the industry since 1980, mostly in underwriting and management roles for regional Pennsylvania companies. During that time, she obtained her AIS, ARE, AU, CIC, CISR, and CPCU designations and held the producer's license. She also has a background in freelance writing, editing, creative collaboration, and business consulting. Today's webinar, you will learn comfort in knowing you're not alone. We all feel pressured by job demands and home demands. Introduction to a simple method to manage workload anxiety. Step-by-step guidance in prioritizing projects to help you run more efficiently. Confidence in applying the process to your own role while integrating other responsibilities, because we all have multiple tasks, don't we? Self-assurance in setting target dates and effectively requesting the internal and external resources you need to meet goals, and lower stress and a higher level of job satisfaction. So without further ado, Mary, take it away.
Okay, let me share my screen here. All right, everyone can see okay? All right, thank you, Sue, for that lovely introduction, and thanks to all of you for joining the conversation today. So you've all heard the term dress for success, right? When you dress like a winner, you feel like a winner, other people see you as a winner. Part of your look, though, comes not from your haircut or your wardrobe, but from confidence. Yet isn't it tough to feel poised and self-assured when you are just dressed to heck and back? So for most of us, December is the time of year when we're forced to face what we had hoped to, but did not accomplish during the previous 11 months or so. The impending new year brings great opportunities to get better organized, get more done, stay on schedule. Those are admirable resolutions, but are they realistic? So before we go any further, I want to emphasize I am not an efficiency expert, and nor am I a psychology professional of any sort. I'm just going to show you a trick to de-stress for success. It can help you find more joy and satisfaction in the role you play in the insurance industry. We'll use it to figure out what's causing your workplace anxiety and how to relieve it so that you can be more productive and carry a confident glow of success. So if there's time at the end of the session, I'll also share a fun way to tech up this very grassroots method. So in 2017, Carrier Management Magazine published a Robert Half study proclaiming insurance industry jobs among the most stressful. And they ranked us number 2, right after law. I'm guessing none of you are very surprised by that ranking. But 2017, you might say, was a long time ago. A lot has changed since then. Well, maybe, but a March 2021 article from Big Eye Independent Agent says this about a study of why people leave the insurance industry. More than half of respondents said that they would leave the industry for better work-life balance. And 84% indicated that while they would recommend the industry, they find it to be particularly stressful. So why do you think insurance workers are so stressed? What's the source of your own work-related worries? Well, I've been at this insurance thing since 1980, and with all those decades of life experience, I say the biggest source of our anxiety is not getting work done. Our biggest stressor is the inability to get our work done. So do you agree? Give me a thumbs up in chat if you think so too. All right, Susan. I also say that laziness is not the source of our not getting work done. Insurance is a fast-paced industry. It's demanding, and people don't generally gravitate to insurance. And if by some fluke a lethargic person lands an insurance job, they don't usually last. Agree? Thumbs up. All right. So that means you, me, our coworkers, our bosses, we're not lazy. We're all hard workers. That's clearly not the issue. The anxiety we feel comes from unfinished projects and missed deadlines and looming surprises. It isn't lack of initiative. This relentless swirl of demands we face each day, it's facilitated by technology. The mobile phone, text messages, instant messages, emails make us or leave us feeling like we've got to handle everything and we've got to handle it now. And then an economy that touts downsized, right-sized, curtailment, retrenchment, those kind of terms only increase the demands. Well, it sounds hopeless, doesn't it? But it's not. I can help. We'll start by understanding a little more about stress. Stress can be defined as a state of worry or mental tension caused by a difficult situation. Well, the World Health Organization defines it that way. So imagine entering a disorganized junky office like the one in the photo. You immediately tense up. You don't know where to lay your tablet down or stow your handbag or your briefcase. You don't even know where to sit in order to get started working. Stress is like that, but in your head. So we'll think of stress as mental clutter. Yet the World Health Organization also points out how that situation is beneficial to survival. They tell us that stress is a natural human response that prompts us to address challenges and threats in our lives. So we need it. And they go on to say that everyone experiences stress to some degree. The way we respond to stress, however, makes a big difference in our overall well-being. So thus, the trick to reducing anxiety, dressing for success, isn't eradicating stressors, but corralling them into a manageable, organized workflows. So I've used this easy diagrammatic method for a long time, and I tweak it and refine it a little bit each time I do. But the beauty of it is that it works on 3 levels: department, individual, and project. So all you need to get started is something to write on. So could be a dry whiteboard. Who remembers those big 3M flip charts on an easel that we used to use in the boardroom? If you got one, use it. If not, a legal pad will work fine. Some colored pens or highlighters are helpful too. But I'd really like this to be interactive. I'd like you to try it. So go ahead and grab those materials now and we'll get going. So on a fresh page, we're going to start with a list of department projects. So these are projects that your department will be responsible for in the coming year, 2024. They probably originated from some strategic planning sessions in 2023. You may or may not have been involved in those meetings, but it doesn't matter. You've been introduced to these projects at some point. Now, if you can brainstorm with someone else in your department to create this list, that's awesome. You'll be more apt to not miss anything. But you can do it on your own if necessary. So I've come up with a commercial lines department and 6 projects my imaginary department is going to be responsible for in the coming year. You don't have to have a complete list for purposes of this exercise, but jot a couple down. I can do the Jeopardy music if you'd like while you're at it. All right, we'll skip that. But what's important here is that we're focusing on projects, not tasks. Tasks would be specific to-do items that support projects. And we're not looking at your ongoing duties. Those would be general things that you or your department are responsible for that are not directly related to projects. For this list, we're just looking for projects. Okay, got a couple things written down. Put your list away and forget about it for now. We'll come back to it later. Now I would like you to draw this on a fresh page. Simple, right? Anybody can do it. If you're nerdy like me, you probably use a ruler and do it real precise. If you're a more creative person, you can freestyle it. That's fine. All right, this will be your department grids. So we're going to head each quadrant in the grid this way. I like to use color just to make it kind of a heat map, but we're looking for top level, second level, mid-level, and last level priorities here. Okay. Now we're going to add these brief descriptions, what I've shown here in black. And while you write those down, I'll tell you a little more about them. So number one, projects will be easy but important projects. So this is something that, though you may have been putting it off for a while, it won't really take a lot of time or human resources to accomplish, and your department or your company or your client will start seeing benefit from it right away. Now pause for a moment. I'd like you to type this in chat or at least say it out loud. You're muted, so I won't know if you don't, but I trust you. I state your name, do solemnly swear to Mary Beegle on this 12th day of December that I will celebrate every number one project upon its completion. So that's I, your name, do solemnly swear that I will celebrate every number one project upon completion. Why is this so critical? Well, we need these little wins to keep our enthusiasm up, and number ones are great stress busters. So often in the business of insurance, the next project or 2 or 10 are coming at us before we get the last one done. And some of them are big. They span months or even years. Sometimes you have to hand them off to another team before they're completed. I think it's a failing of our industry that we so seldom step back and look at our work and breathe it in to celebrate it. Don't get me wrong, I never turn down cake, but that's not what I mean by celebrating. How do you celebrate a number one project? By saying so. It could be in an instant message, a quick email, a phone call, or simply to yourself in the mirror. Might sound something like, hey, Rich, I wanted to let you know that reorganizing those files really sped up the invoicing process. Or, Trish, I needed a TPS report and I found it in seconds. Or, smile, Mary, that spreadsheet you sweated over last week, it's working perfectly. You celebrate a number one by appreciating it in your soul every time it makes your life easier. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. We'll talk about number twos. Number two projects are a little less hot than number ones, but they're important nonetheless. So the biggest difference with these orange colored projects is that they're not quick and easy. This will be a project that your department, your company, your biggest client really, really needs, but it's going to take some time and your best people. You're going to have to coordinate schedules and collaborate with other resources, put in some serious hours on these. You'll probably take meeting minutes, maybe get status reports, make presentations. So within that context, those are your second level priority projects. Number three projects are easy, but less important. So in my current job, there aren't too many of these at a department level. That could be very different in your role as an administrator, an accountant, or a claims adjuster, underwriter, reinsurer, whatever. But here you think about projects that have been hanging around the department for a while, but they never seem to get done. They need done. You just can't seem to justify the talent, even if the required period is brief. It just always feels like there's something better that your team should be doing. Those are your number threes. Now, number four projects are the lowest level of priority because of a high difficulty factor and a benefit that's kind of hard to quantify or qualify. So let's think of this in the context of a personal relationship. Say you have a tiny bathroom in your house. It works perfectly fine. The light comes on when you flip the switch. Water comes out of the faucet into the little bitty basin when you turn the tap. Toilet flushes. But that bathroom is papered in horrible, gaudy wallpaper, like from the 60s. I'm picturing brown and golden mushrooms. And the wallpaper's on tight. So for several years, your partner's been petitioning to get the wallpaper stripped, to paint a bathroom, update the fixtures. You know the project needs done. The bathroom's ugly. You don't enjoy it now, and it's probably affecting the saleability of your house should you ever go that route. but you also know it's going to be a hard project. It's going to be hot and cramped in there. You're going to bump into each other. You're going to bang your head, probably get paint in your hair. And plus, in the course of the project, you're likely going to uncover some plumbing problems or other surprises. That's a number 4 project. So in a work environment, this project could be a corporate decision to image paper files. Well, sure, who wouldn't like the convenience of a paperless archive? But dang, that's a whole bunch of tedious work for your already overtaxed staff. Or it could be converting digital documents to a new platform, upgrading hardware. I would say more often, taking time to train a lower level employee on something you can do yourself, but you probably shouldn't be doing at your pay grade. You get the idea. Those are your number 4 projects. All right, now we'll add some timing to these priority levels. So it's a no-brainer to get number 1s out of the way. Just do them now. Because of the importance of number 2 projects, you've got to get to them more sooner than later. So I call them as soon as possible. Now, number 3 projects, they're nice little wins like number 1s, but you can't give them a lot of priority since they're not as important. You can, though, work on number 3 projects when you or your team have little gaps in time between number 1s and number 2s. Know who else number 3 projects are perfect for? New hires. New hires. Since these number 3 projects are less important, no big deal if somebody makes a mistake, right? And number 3s are also a terrific way for your new employees to learn about the department, how things run, who's in charge of what, where files are stored. And I think most importantly, since number 3 projects are quick, these give your new team members a little emotional boost of actually completing something. Can really help with stickiness of new hires. Now, there's no way around it. Number 4 projects can be a real drain on your department. However, in many cases, number 4 projects can go to interns or temps with oversight, of course, or even be outsourced. When the time comes, we're going to talk about this in a minute. Don't be afraid to state your case for those additional resources to the decision makers in your company. You can cite the benefits of getting these number 4s off the table finally, and doing so while utilizing your best people for these higher priority projects. All right. Now pull out that list we started with, your list of department projects. And think about it. Now that we've talked, which of these should be number 1 in the number 1 projects in your department grid? Don't worry about catching all of them. You can move things around in different quadrants of the grid as you go, but usually those easy and importance jump right out at you. So they're a good place to start. So we put them in the number 1 block. I'll show them here in blue. Do the same thing for your number 2 projects, your number 3s, and your last level priority. So maybe you're not so sure which block some of these projects should go in. Well, I think it helps to add a little more information. And I've given you a couple points here to start with. You'll probably come up with lots more. But you might add some criteria. Why do you think it might be a number 1 project or a number 4 project? You may look at the names of team members who will be needed on the project. Their availability could impact which level of priority you give it. You might think about the availability of additional resources as well. Other departments, people in other roles, whether you're going to need outsourcing or whether you will need products or supplies. And of course, you're going to think about milestones, important dates in each project. That's going to help you. The combination of that kind of information will help you determine which block it goes in. So I just did one here for you. I show that in purple. So don't you feel better? I mean, you should. You've eliminated the stress of a multitude of demands now that would have come at you randomly or all at once in 2024. And this easy to assimilate, I'll show you again, this easy to assimilate visual representation makes you better prepared to take next steps. And remember, I told you we were going to talk about getting additional resources. Well, this is going to leave you well equipped for serious discussions with your decision makers if you should need to shift dates or get more people on your project. You show them this, you won't be talking in circles. You can show exactly why Sue can't be the lead on 3 top priority projects and bring them all to fruition at once. The grid's going to help you get what you need to dress for success. All righty, now you understand the concept, right? We're going to make it personal. Let's apply this methodology at an individual level. We're going to use it to get your workday in order. So you're going to copy your department list, but you're going to cross out projects that you will not be directly involved with. Your department will be responsible for them, but they're not your babies. So then we're going to think about what your role will be in each of the remaining projects. And here it helps to look at your accountabilities if you have structured accountabilities in your job. I used to work for a company where I had a 13-page list of accountabilities. Most of the time that's more tribal knowledge or understood what you'll do, but think about what your role will be in each of those projects and jot them down. Okay. So then you're going to put those remaining projects into your individual grid. Now, what's important to remember here is that where you place them, what you call a top level priority or a second level priority, whatever, may be very different than where those projects landed in the department grid. Again, here you're looking at what your role in the project will be. Now, remember those ongoing duties that we talked about earlier, those general things that you're responsible for that are not directly related to a project. I told you to ignore those in the department grid. You're going to put them in your individual grid. Here you're going to show them, I put some in purple in each quadrant. And the purpose of that is to help manage your time and the demands on your time. So now your individual grid becomes a nice, comfortable map for your day, your week, your whole year. So hang on tight, folks. We're going to now take it down one more notch to a project level. So remember, the department grid organized projects for your department. Your individual grid organized your accountabilities within certain projects. Now, the project grid is basically an easy visual project plan. Now, does anybody like to write project plans? I sure don't. This can make it a little less stressful. It can be as basic or as finely detailed as you like. But you will prepare one of these for each of the projects on your individual grid. So I just picked the first one here. We're going to update our BOP Enhancer endorsement. And then I jotted down the tasks. Remember, we forgot about those tasks. We ignored them in the department grid. Here's where you use them. These are the tasks that will support that project. Got it? All right. Then you're going to place those tasks into the appropriate priority grid on your project grid. All right. So it looks something like this. So these are the tasks in black. And then I added a little bit more detail. Maybe some stuff about when I want to get it done or who I will work with to accomplish that. So you're going to be amazed when you break a project down this way. Just try it with one. That's all I ask. Try one. If you get a better understanding of what's easy but important, and you devote a day, you can knock those out. Maybe a couple of D&D hours, you can knock out a bunch of number 3 priorities. You'll be the most accomplished member of your team and probably the best prepared for update sessions when you have to talk about the project. All right, so do we have a question in chat? I'm managing too many windows here. Nope, we're good? Okay.
I don't see any.
Thank you. Well, you folks have been a terrific audience. I really appreciate you hanging in there through that and for the interactiveness. But I'm going to ask you to interact a little more. Somebody hit me with two questions. Give me 2 questions about this method.
Mary, how can you stay disciplined to make yourself do this?
Make it fun. Make it a challenge, like a puzzle. Yeah, I agree with your thinking, though. Organizing your workflow shouldn't add to the workload. It should creating one of these grids shouldn't be a to-do item, but rather a way to corral your thoughts about it. May help to pre-print a bunch of the grids, design it, and print a few off if you like to work with a pencil. No other questions?
How do you get others to buy into the system?
Show them it works. Show them that how organized you are at the next strategic planning session or at the project update meeting. Show them how easy it is. It's really just a conceptual thought process.
So can you use it to manage upward too? Because it seems like in corporations, there's a lot of confusion about priorities. And it feels like this grid might really help because there's a lot of gaps sometimes by managers knowing how much work is really involved. And when they've asked someone to do something and they're like, how bad could that be? And maybe this is a tool. Have you used it that way?
I have not personally, but I see no reason why you couldn't take it up one notch from the department level to the top management level and look at, in a more general way, what projects you're expecting out of each department and how they dovetail together. I like that.
How often do you update your plans?
I always start with a nice, neat one, and I usually do them in writing. I do it on my computer and print it, and then by the end of the project, it'll have notes all over it. So I will say it's continually updated with a pen. I'm not especially disciplined about doing that on a weekly basis or something, but I would say anytime I'm ready to present it, I would update it. So if I'm going to be showing it to a team member or giving a report or a presentation, I would do it periodically for that. Much the way you would with a project plan, because boy, don't they have a way of changing on you as the project evolves.
Yeah, how do you manage the scope definition? Because that seems to, and that's not just for the person themselves, but often things are done in a matrix, that have to be, and getting others to all align around a scope.
To manage scope changes, is that what we're talking about?
Well, manage scope changes, but agree at the outset, because often someone's a project lead, but they need to draw in many other teammates, and everybody needs to agree on what the scope is.
That will certainly minimize scope changes, although projects do take on a life of their own. But yep. I feel like being able to see a visualization of that would be beneficial. Well, I will remind you that this is my own invention. I've taken a number of management courses over the years and project planning sessions, but so there could be whiffs of those carried forth here. But basically, it's my own invention. So I hope you'll try it. I hope it helps you. And if you have any suggestions as you go, please do email me. I would love to hear from you about how it's working. Or if I can be of any help to you while you're using it, give me a shout.
Sue, before you do any closing, I want to say thank you to Mary, because I think this is, in our stressful world, I think any tool that we can get a nugget from or incorporate in whatever way helps us all. A
little calmer about the demand.
Well, we're not going to be getting less work to do. So being able to manage ourselves and in our head, because I think that you said early on, Mary, I thought is really one of the big issues is you're faced with an elephant and a bunch of elephants. And, how do you take care of it. And unfortunately, it's one bite at a time.
But which bite to take first is helpful.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think that's really, really important. So I appreciate you and going through this and sharing your own experience. So, Sue, I turn to you.
Yes, I agree, Mary. I think sometimes just writing things down helps you clarify how you're going to do something. Seeing it in writing and going back and saying, okay, how was I going to do this? I think a lot of times we sit there and we worry about these things and we don't write it down and don't start the process of attacking the elephant. But we do appreciate your doing this for us. Hopefully we've all learned some tips that we can use in our daily lives, and not just for work, but for personal projects that we all have way too many of those as well. So thank you again.
How are we doing on time? Do we have a few more minutes?
Yes, we do.
Great. Okay. Well, I promised I'd show you how to tech up this whole method if the opportunity presents itself.
Go for it.
I am not promoting, selling, or representing any company other than MSO, nor any specific project or product. So a whiteboard is nothing more than a digital version of an old-fashioned chalkboard or a dry whiteboard. You can draw on it, type into it, attach sticky notes, insert links, whatever you'd like. And there are plenty of computerized whiteboard options. Zoom and Microsoft have them. There's Miro, Stormboard, Mural, there's a whole bunch. This is just a fun free app I discovered. It's probably already on your smartphone. It's called Freeform. So if you don't see this colorful blue and orange icon on your home screen, you can go to the App Store and load it for free. My favorite part of this, it's not just Freeform. All the whiteboard applications, I believe, share this feature that you can collaborate in real time. And that can be so helpful using this grid technique. Say you're starting your initial list of department projects. You can invite one of your coworkers to collaborate, and they can be adding to your list or asking questions or changing things, adding additional information, and you'll see it live while they're doing it. And you can do it from your phone or your tablet. And it's a great resource for remote workers and just people that are too busy to get together for one more meeting. So if you like the idea of that kind of a collaborative digital environment to do your grids, you can learn more about it here. This is a clickable link, but sometimes it crashes Zoom for me, so I'm not going to click it. But I will be happy to share that link with you. It's a great article about Freeform. And if you're the kind that likes a video, this is a fun little YouTube video about how to use Freeform. It's only 14 minutes long, and it's somewhat humorous and kind of aimed at people of a certain age using this technology. So you may enjoy that as well. Last call for questions. Anything else? All right. Well, again, thank you very much. And I'll turn it back over to Sue.
Thank you, Mary. Some more useful tips. We already have several webinars planned for 2024 and hope to announce our complete schedule shortly. Coming up on February 15th, Matt Warble and Rich Nilke from Met Fessel and Warble will talk about roofing contractors and restoration companies, a growing issue for many of our clients. Ivo Raguzzi from Optimo will talk to us about fraud for one CE credit in multiple states on April 16th. MSO's Nils Deacon has a presentation on houses of worship. 2 brand new Omnia selections, emerging leaders and team building, will be offered. Flood will be the topic from New England Excess Exchange. Another proposed topic is wildfires, and I will be speaking on ethical practices. The ED seminar will be held virtually again this year on November 12th and 13th. Proposed topics include agritourism from our own Rich Polkowski, cannabis, insurtech, and artificial intelligence. Please contact us with your suggestions for topics and presenters. We are expanding our continuing education school nationwide and are going to be offering CE in multiple states, so contact us for more information. Once again, we'd love to thank all of our sponsors and thank Mary for taking the time to try to enlighten us and make our lives a little less stressful. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you to our team who makes this all possible. And happy holidays and happy new year to all of you.
Thank you, Sue. Thanks, everyone. And please reach out to me if you would like the slide deck from today's presentation.
And the recording will be available in the near future.